Set up entire projects just by asking, with AI agents that generate workflows, do research, and even complete tasks for you, not to mention real-time collaboration, video calling, and a heap of other amenities. Become the most efficient person on your team, even if it's just you.
All right. Hey, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Narek. How you doing?
Good, good. How's everything with you?
Doing well, doing well. Hey, everybody on the stream. Thanks for joining us. So this is Heidi and Narek from Taskade, and we're doing these weekly streams. We're testing out, a few different times, but so far this has worked for us. So thanks for joining us. Hopefully, you're able to drop things into the chat. We want to keep this as interactive as possible. So just as a reminder, we will be looking at the chat definitely at the end and maybe a little bit throughout. So feel free to throw stuff in there if you have any questions or anything pops up. So today, quite excited about jumping into this. We're going to kind of walk through how to get started with Taskade. So a lot of people, ask us questions on either social media or forums or Discord on just kind of like, how do I really set things up? What is all this stuff? It does so much. It's great that it does so much, but where do I start? So we get these questions a lot, and we wanted to kind of walk you through sort of a mini onboarding or like a getting started with Taskade AI. And the best way to do that in our experience is to really just think of something that you want to do, with Taskade. So when you're thinking of using a productivity platform or AI, it's fun to use and stuff. And I certainly have spent hours just setting things up, and,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. But what are you going to do with it? Like, what are you actually doing? Because, it's not a productivity platform if you're just setting it up forever and you never produce
Yeah.
anything, right? So
Exactly.
that's the trap people can fall into, right? With any type of productivity. And I'm a total productivity, nerd. I will like nerd out on things for hours and hours. But that's not really getting anything done. So what we're gonna do is try to help you overcome maybe that first hurdle, just get you started, show you how things work. Narek's going to walk us through kind of just how the workspace looks, what projects are, the different views, and then we're going to create an agent for a simple use case. I think we're going to talk about just creating content. So I'm going to pretend that or Narek or whoever, we're going to basically pretend that we want to create content for a company, and we're just going to use Taskade as an example. We're going to create an agent and actually be able to produce a piece of content by the end of this. And hopefully everybody's watching and has some cool things to say in the chat. So yes, I see some comments coming in. Hi, how's it going? Looks like we have an emoji waving. So some people are in the chat, which is awesome. So please do that. Please keep dropping those comments in, and we're just going to go ahead and get into it. So this is our getting started with Taskade. Narek, so yeah,
Yeah.
let's jump into it. Like, do you have I mean, I have a completely blank workspace ready if we need that, but if you have something awesome, let's jump into what people should know when they're getting started with Taskade.
Yeah. And I actually have a completely brand new
Awesome.
workspace. So I
Sweet.
think it'll be easy to just kind of work with that.
Perfect.
So you guys can see my screen over here.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me zoom in a little bit. Is
Yeah.
that better?
Looks pretty good to me. Guys, let us know in the chat if you need a different view or you having, if it's okay, let us know.
Yeah. So when you first log into Taskade, you're going to see something similar to this. If you went through the onboarding, you would probably already have a project here. And this is basically your workspace, right? And you can have multiple workspaces. And can you zoom in? Let me zoom in a little bit more. Is that better? Okay.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay.
So you can have multiple workspaces. Workspaces, they're just places where you can collaborate with your team or with AI. And in your workspaces, you'll find projects, your AI agents, AI teams, automations, and your media. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a project with AI. So we're actually going to go into, let's do a client. Actually, we'll do this. I'm going to change this to content. I'm going to say create a branding guide or brand guide for Taskade.com. And we're actually going
So
to,
hang on, Eric. If somebody's asking to see it bigger, I might change our view here.
is that better?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm gonna change this view for everybody, just so I think that'll be better.
Okay, cool. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a brand guide. So going to add a link to Taskade's website and do add to knowledge. And then I'm just gonna change this preset to content. And what this is gonna do is it's basically gonna reference whatever sources or files that I upload here in order to execute this prompt, right? And this is gonna save me a ton of time because I no longer have to sit here and type all of this out. And you could see it's getting all of it
Boom.
down. Like typing all of this out, organizing it, that's going to take me forever. And if I don't like anything over here, I can just do create project. I'm going to close this right here, and then I could change it up. So it gives me a really good starting point for any sort of task or assignment or anything really. But the real power for Taskade comes from working with the AI agents, I would say. So now we have our project, we have our brand guidelines that we created, right? You can actually see this information in a different way. So you can have your board view over here, which will break it out into a Kanban board. And then you could have calendar view. So if you've set any sort of deadlines to any of these previous tasks, you'll see them over here. You can view it as a table. You can view it as a mind map. So this is great, especially for strategy and brainstorming sessions. So you can run through this as well. Org chart, which is just a vertical version of it, and Gantt chart.
Awesome.
Now I'm just going to go back to list view over here. So now we have our projects over here. What you can do for each one of these is you can actually assign a due date. So simple, stable project management features like before. You have your due date. You can assign it to someone on your team, add comments, attach files from various sources. And yeah, it's pretty standard stuff. Now we have a project. We have our information over here. How do we use this with AI agents? How does Taskade kind of make these projects much more effective? And what we want to do is go to our AI agents tab over here, and we're going to create our first agent. Now, if you're not familiar, by the way, if I'm going any like fast or if there's anything you want me to like elaborate on, feel free to type it in the chat and directly
Yeah,
address it right then
please.
and there.
Yeah, please keep the chat going if you have any questions or if you need us to zoom in, zoom out. We're here for you guys, so let us know.
Yeah. So AI agents, what are they? Some of you might know what they are. Some of you might have had experience with them, but you can think of them as kind of your virtual assistants. And I think the easiest way to understand it is actually creating one. So
Yeah.
we already have a couple options in templates, but we can actually generate one with AI as well. But I'm going to start with the template because I'm going to go back to this in a little bit. But we'll start with the marketer template. Actually, let's do the for marketing. Let's do the content marketer.
Hmm.
And so I'm actually zoom out a little bit just so we can see some of the stuff over here. So with every agent, you can think of it as you're adding someone new to your team. When you're hiring someone new, they have a role, which is you can think of it as their name, and they have responsibilities, right? So they're generally responsible for, as a content marketer, you're going to be creating content for your team, your target audience, whoever it is. You would write those roles and responsibilities in the instruction section. So once you give the instructions over here, next thing you want to do is you want to go over to the knowledge tab. And we're going to enable knowledge. Now, same way when you're hiring someone new, you onboard them, right? You tell them, hey, this is how the company does certain things. This is how we handle, let's say, if you're creating content, this is our process. These are our standard operating procedures. And you might even handle your client's guidelines, right? So over here, what you want to do is we're going to add the project from before, which was our brand guide, and we're going to hand it over to our content marketer so they can create copy that's on brand. And then we're going to press update. And then there's also commands. Now, commands, you can think of these as more task specific prompts. So, for example, if let's say it's a content marketer, you're not going to do an Instagram caption the same way that you would with a blog article. So, you would have different instructions for each one of those. That's where commands come into play. And now, the easiest way we can go about this is to just, once we've trained them, we've given the instructions, we've set up our commands, you can just directly chat with them. So
Yeah.
over here,
I like the chat function.
yeah, and then we can just say, I don't know, create a Instagram caption about Taskade. It's very vague, very broad, but you could see that it's just going to reference the information you provided, and
Yeah.
it's also going to cite sources. So this is
Yeah.
great for verifying that information.
But it's not bad though. For just pulling it. Okay.
Now, what Taskade allows you to do with these agents is you can actually create teams. And so usually for social media marketing or any sort of content creation, what we do is we create an ideal customer persona. So create a persona of a business owner wanting to use AI for project management. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to generate that agent that we manually created before from that template. It's going to generate one for you. So it's going to tailor it for you. It's going to set the name, the instructions, and all the commands for you. And this saves you time as well. I realized I clicked on the smart option instead of the fast.
Oh,
So
well, the agent will be smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it takes a little longer,
yeah.
Takes a little longer to make smarter agents.
Mhm.
But yeah, I like that. I mean, you can make them very, very quick. Or it can take a little bit more time to, make them more sophisticated, I guess. And so what exactly when it's smarter is it the prompt that's more detailed?
It's the model that it's using is different.
Oh, the model. Okay.
Yeah. So this one is running on GPT-4. Oh,
Hmm.
I guess it wasn't that smart in that regard. But I'm just going to do one with smart and fast instead. So create a business
Okay.
owner persona that wants to use AI for project management. And this is I'm like doing this on the fly, so it's not exactly. Yeah, so you'll
There we
see
go.
that it actually creates a project management agent, the project management tasks. It will create all this information, and then we can create and launch agent. Now, what we would do is we have our project management agent and we have our content marketer. What we're going to do is we're going to create an AI team. You can think of a AI team as kind of like a group chat or even a department, honestly.
Mhm.
And what you do, we're going to create this as a social media team. And I'm going to add these agents over here. I'm going to press create. Now you'll see this bar over here. In this section, if I do auto, Taskade is going to decide who should respond in this group chat, or I can choose who I want to respond.
Okay.
And I could even just do a roundtable with everyone. But let's say I want to say, tell me about the problems that business owners experience with project management. I can delegate it to the project management agent. And then now what I can do is I can say, create content around these problems with Taskade solving them. I wish I could zoom out a little bit more, but essentially what it will do is you could see that it referenced the previous information over here.
Mm.
So you could see this one was saying scope creep, poor communication, unclear objectives. And then the content marketer took that and, well, it addressed that,
Oh,
addressed this
wow.
as well. So I can have it
That's
actually
awesome.
create content specifically for a certain profile or ideal customer persona or whatever it is.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so this is really helpful for social media, and just even making more targeted content. And yeah, that's kind of like the quick overview and rundown of AI agents and AI teams.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. And when you're in with the team, you can still add, whatever it's producing to projects?
Mhm.
Okay.
So you can actually copy this. You can even
Uh-huh.
add it to their knowledge. So let's say if you like
Okay.
something they write over here, I can
Mhm.
actually add it to a folder. I can add it to a specific project. I can even create a project from this. So let's say I like this. I like what the content marketer came up
Mhm.
with. I can just create a project and then go to that project. I'm going to share this tab instead. And this would be like content ideas.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you access your agents when you're at this view? If you wanna get back to them, what's the best way when you're in the project?
Yeah. So, great question. So, one thing is at the top right, you'll see something that says toggle agents. If I click on that, you'll see the icons. And now I can chat with them directly over here.
Okay.
So, if I want the content marketer over here,
Ah.
I can chat with it. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to reference this information over here whenever I'm responding to it. So if I say like draft me an article, actually, let's start a new conversation instead. Draft me an article about how Taskade solves scope creep. And it'll actually address all of these things over here.
Okay, awesome.
So projects are a lot more dynamic and they're real time as well. So it's like as you edit these things over here, it's being reflected in the agent over here because the content marketer it has. So let's say the content marketer has your brand guidelines, right? I have my Taskade brand guide over here. If I change anything about my brand over here, it's going to update this agent's knowledge. So if I go to knowledge over here, this right here is going to constantly be updated. So it really avoids like that whole process of retraining, re-uploading, and having to like tailor content and everything.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. We have a question from Nicole. Can then the agent edit specific areas of the project while in the project?
Yeah, I mean, great question. What you can do is you can, if you press the plus sign whenever you're in this project, if I do press and then I do AI agent, I can choose one of the agents over here. So, for example, content marketer, and I can, let's say, repurpose content
Oh, wow.
and it will run in the background. So I don't even have to wait for it to generate or anything like that. I can go and do my own thing. And then while this generates, once it's done, it will show me like a check mark. So you can see it over here, and I can insert or replace it, and it will handle that specific portion of it.
Oh, awesome. That's super cool. Hopefully that answers your question, Nicole. So yes. Let's see, there's another question. I'm not sure if it's a feature request, but any plans for the relationship between the base number, property formula, and relationship? I'm not sure what that is. Do you know what that is?
I think he's referring to table view, and I
Okay.
think he's referring to the custom fields over here. So, for
Okay.
example, we have a number field. I think what he's trying to do in his case is, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, I think he's trying to sum up some of the formulas. So, a lot of times, what people do is they might treat this as like, let's say, a number, and I call this time. Some people might treat this as like, I spent 20 minutes on this,
Mm.
and then I spent 30 minutes on this. They want to summarize and sum up the fields over here.
Oh, some. Okay, got it.
Yeah. We don't have that feature exactly just yet, but it's something that we're planning on working on in the future.
Okay, great, great. We have another question from Seuss. Can we increase the size of the chat screen? And they have a follow-up. When chatting with multiple agents, you can enlarge the screen.
So you can actually drag this and it'll enlarge the side over here. But let's say you actually just want to chat with a agent directly. You can press on open in new window. And it'll actually, if I share this tab instead, you can see that it's now a full size
Okay.
window. And you can even collapse this even more.
Okay. And so that's the same when working with multiple agents? 'Cause you're saying when chatting with multiple agents. Okay.
Are you referring to AI Teams? Basically opening a
I think he
team?
is. Yeah, I think he's saying when you're chatting with Teams, that window.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Working on that one as well. Yeah, AI Teams is pretty new, guys. I don't think anyone anyone really has this. So like, yeah, we're still perfecting it. So thank you. Okay, so Eureka. All right, I think that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I think that
Well,
answered the question.
That's great. That's great. And yeah, we'll bring that to AI Teams as well. So keep those questions coming. If if you'd like. And if you have feature requests, I see a couple of feature requests in there. Best place is see if I could type it in the chat. You can go here. You can go to taskade.com /feedback, and please do feel free to submit any feature requests. There, it's the best way to get it directly to the team. Okay, cool. Okay, let's see, what else can we take a peek at here? Oh wait, we have another comment here. We use Task Magic and Zapier. It allows us to create a task. Is there a way to assign an AI to the task?
I mean, this is kind of an interesting use case, but this would technically be one way that you can assign an AI to a task. So if I have certain things over here, what I can do is I could just press, if I have my tasks listed over here, I can do AI agent. And then afterwards, I can run certain commands on it. So if I do create content calendar, which isn't going to make sense with what I chose, but like that's not the point. It'll actually create it for me, and it's now assigning that task. So you
Wait,
can do it on
are you
both.
showing that? I can't see it.
Oh, I'm
Are you doing
sharing
something?
the wrong screen. My bad.
Okay, no worries. Just
Here, I'll do it on this.
okay.
Yeah, that's the issue with having too many tabs open.
Yeah.
But essentially, what you can do is, let's actually do this. I'm just going to do a new project, start blank, and I'm just going to call this tasks. And let's say one of my tasks is to create a email to send to a client regarding their tasks. This is very broad, very vague.
Yeah.
But I can literally just have an AI assistant do it, or I can even just have the content marketer do it too. But you know what? Let's do this. It makes no sense to create a content calendar with this, but it'll do like email templates, whatever it is. And then it will actually generate the tasks for me. But I think if he expands a little bit more on what he's looking for,
Yeah,
it
let
becomes a
us
lot
know.
easier for me to answer that.
Yeah, let us know what you mean by that or what you're accomplishing right now. That would help. Any plan to add code interpretation?
Um, this one's a tough one. I think
Mhm.
so. Are you looking to execute code using the AI agents? And I keep asking questions to people's questions because I'm trying to
Yeah,
give a
no,
better
please.
answer.
I mean, yeah, because otherwise you answer the wrong question,
Yeah.
so. Depends what you mean. So give us a little bit more, and we're happy to answer that.
Yeah. Because right now, technically, I can just have, let's say, IT services, and I could do whatever over here. And then if I just chat with this directly, and I say like generate HTML boilerplate, it will actually generate it in code format over here. But like, I don't know if he's actually saying
To interpret
he
code?
wants to execute this in like a preview or show it or whatever it is, giving context to agents.
Hmm,
Okay. Um, I think you can, but yeah, I'm gonna need a little bit more info on that
okay.
one. If you give me the use case, I'll be able to run through it and tell you if it's doable or not.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it depends on what you're trying to do for sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's tough. It's tough to be able to do everything. I think we do a lot.
Yeah, we have like I mean, I like to think of Taskade as kind of like the easiest way to kind of embed or inject AI into your or your team's workflow. So, for
Yes.
example, even previously where it's like just like chat GPT understand code better. Yeah, I mean, you could add it as context. I haven't tried it exactly, so I can't tell you whether it gives good results or not. But we use the same underlying technology as ChatGPT as well. So if ChatGPT understands it, then it should
Yeah,
understand it as well.
right. Yeah, we're using GPT 4.0.
Hmm. I've been hearing. I'm gonna show that one.
Yeah.
I've been here since day one of Taskade. The evolution has been incredible. If they stopped a year ago, we were good. They just keep bringing it forward.
They don't wanna stop. We keep telling them, we're like, "Stop making new features," and they're like,
Yeah.
"No way. There's absolutely no way we're gonna stop." So we're like, "Okay, that's fine." So we're gonna have another set of new features next week, to go over, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, that's just how it is. The engineering team, they are crazy. They just love to constantly innovate. So yeah, we may slow down at some point just to perfect a few things, make it
Hmm.
like prettier and work on the UI. But other than that, we just plan to keep shipping. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, we're constantly trying to improve the product, and it's like usually whenever people tell us use cases, they tell us give us feedback and all that stuff. We're pretty receptive, I would say.
oh, very receptive. I think yeah,
Yeah,
I think
we
yeah,
we
we hear
really like do
something.
dig deep, like into like we do a deep dive into like okay, like what are they actually trying to solve? How can we help with this? How do we make it better? And yeah, I mean like to kind of just jump back into like to make it easier for people to use AI in their day-to-day workflows.
Yeah, no,
Like
100%. I mean,
automations, they're
yeah.
super this is a super powerful tool.
Oh yeah,
Not
we have flow paths now too.
yeah, and there's so much you can do with this, but it's like it's just people don't really know what is possible with AI at times. So like yeah, but I see
We
before I
got a
go on a
question here.
tangent.
It's a
Yep.
good question. It's a good question. Can agents get data from the web, say to research products and services?
Yep. That is definitely every agent actually has web access. So for example, if I tell this, here's a good version of it. Um, scrape taskade.com and give me a idea of what their brand voice is like. What it'll do is it'll actually show you that it's reading the site.
Mhm.
And then once it's done, it will say finished, and then it will do that. And I mean, this was one of the hacks that I had last time. Give me top 10 or give me 10 URLs regarding Taskade.com. And it will give you this information. And then if you want to kind of, it's a bit of a hack, but what you can do is you can do quick add, and then you can add it to knowledge,
Oh.
and then it will actually reference this information in its knowledge.
Oh, wow.
So I could say like Taskade URLs.
That's awesome. Okay. So yeah, we can definitely, grab stuff from the web for sure.
Yeah. This is really helpful for client research most of the time. If you have a new client, you want to, even for if you're a sales rep, for example, and you're trying to personalize an email, just plug in their information, run it through this, and prompt it to scrape their site and personalize what you're offering to them, and it'll handle all of that for you.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think, yeah, sales is one of the untapped use cases still. There's so many use cases for sales and marketing or sales, in general. I have a question from Nicole. Do teams span across different projects, or are they specific to the project? So I think you mean AI teams.
Yeah. AI teams are specific to the workspace in the folder.
Mhm.
So, for example, if I created a new folder and let's say I call this marketing, the teams that I would have for marketing are going to be different than the teams I would have for, let's say, sales.
Mhm.
And you could see that if I go to AI teams, they're completely different over here. Like social media team would probably make sense to be in the marketing folder. So
Yeah.
yeah, this kind of makes it easier for you to kind of segment your data in a way that makes sense. So usually teams, what they do is they either have, and this is a great segue into workspace setup. What I've seen is usually they'll have a workspace for whatever organization they're working for. And then from there, they'll have separate folders for each function or department. So, for example, if this was Taskade, we might have a marketing department, we might have an engineering department, and these would be their own respective folders. And if we needed any extra folders, then we would probably turn these folders into its own standalone workspace over here with its own set of subfolders as well. So, for example, if engineering has a lot more requirements than, and it's much easier if it segments it into different folders, then what we would do is turn engineering into its own workspace, and then engineering would have its own stuff like, let's say, I don't know, like testing, planning, or whatever it is, and then putting it into that sort of setup.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, I think that makes sense. Yeah, you do want to have things separated and clean, and that can be crazy. I have like so many projects that I need to like
Yeah.
archive. It gets kind of crazy really fast. We do have a Taskade API, right?
Yeah. If you go to developers.taskade.com, so let me actually open it right here. So if you go to developers.taskade.com, you can just get started right away. And this is free. You don't have to pay for anything. We're not like X or Reddit where they charge you for API usage.
Yeah, not yet at least. So fair use.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy, but yeah. Yeah, there's another question here. I honestly don't know how to answer this.
Okay. I want to make a Linux distro. How do I get AI to do all the testing stuff? I want to receive an ISO file, not just script. Is this possible? I have almost no coding knowledge. Okay. Right now, the inputs and outputs for Taskade or Taskade agents are limited to text. So it's not actually going to generate a file for you or an ISO file for you. What it will do is it will generate the scripts for you that will probably generate that file for you. So you can run it in another program that will actually execute code, but it won't actually generate it and send it over.
Okay.
I know that was a pretty
No, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more than I would have. So yeah, I would have no idea. Yeah. So okay, so we went over AI agent, went over projects, project views. We went over AI agents, AI teams. We touched on automations a bit. And we talked about workspaces. Um, what else should we cover? I mean, what about just like what's all the stuff on the top left? Like, how does the whole UI function?
Yeah, so basically over here in the top left, the UI itself is kind of like the top left, it kind of flows down in terms of scope. All of these are going to be aggregates in a sense. What they do is they compile data across workspaces. And so if you're part of multiple organizations, if I go into recents, it's going to show me information from other places. If I go into my tasks, I don't have anything assigned to me, obviously, because I didn't do that. But it'll actually you can filter through different things. So if you wanted to just focus on what marketing has to do, you can do that. If you wanted to just focus on what sales has, you can do that. And then if it's past due or due today or it's upcoming, you can filter through that. And this kind of gives you like a very broad overview of what's going on. And the same way with calendar as well. I can show all places that I was part of, or I can just look at specific departments. So if I want to know what's going on in marketing's calendar,
Mm,
it's going to show all that data for me.
okay.
And then starred, if I star any projects in
Mm-hmm.
any sort of folder, it's going to show up there and shared with me. If someone shares any folders with me, so let's say a client shares something with me or the team shares another page or whatever it is, I can just reference it over here.
That's awesome. How do you change the name of your workspace?
Yeah, so I would just click on the drop down over here. Oh, actually, yeah, drop down over here, press edit, and then now
Okay.
I can change it to
Boom.
whatever I want.
You
So just spamming it over there. But
can have an icon too. Okay.
mhm. And then yeah, you can. There are a few things that you can customize over here. So if I go to security, I can like make sure the chat is disabled. I can disable share links if I'm trying to keep content private,
Mm-hmm.
and I can enable hide completed. So
Okay.
if you're ever completing stuff and you just want to make sure everything that's ever completed is not in your way, you can do
Okay. And what are our major like integrations, would you say?
that. Definitely Gmail, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
is a really cool one for AI agents, especially. I think that's probably one of our underrated features, to be honest. Here's how I use it. I have an email writer, and one of the things I do is I go into tools, add tool, and I do send email. And you're gonna have to connect your Gmail account. Luckily, mine's already over here. But once I do update, and then I do chat, what I like to do is I already have a separate one, so this is not exactly the one I'm using. But basically, I've trained a sales rep in a sense, and what I did is I added my own knowledge to it. So knowledge about the company's offerings, the products that we have, and what we want to highlight as far as like value adds for Taskade. I add all that information into its knowledge, and then afterwards, now when I chat with it, I can say generate an email to send to Heidi at taskade.com. And then obviously it's going to ask me for more. It's introducing what Taskade does for content marketers. Send this email to her.
Great.
Oops.
Yay.
And what it'll do is it'll run Gmail
Mm-hmm.
and it basically plugs in the fields for you. So you can see that the email that I created before,
Oh wow.
I'll have it over here and has my name, everything. You can change the subject if you want. And then afterwards, if I like this, don't like it, I can approve it and send it. So this is really helpful. I use this a lot, but
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I think that's one of the, like the integrations that's really underrated.
Yeah, 100%. I need to get on that, use that more.
Yeah. Not to mention
Um,
that we have a ton of
yeah.
other things too. Like if you go into automations, Calendly,
Calendly.
Slack, Google Sheets, HubSpot, YouTube and RSS were just last week,
Yeah,
and those are huge for like content marketers, especially generating blogs from
100%.
videos and RSS feeds.
Yeah, the YouTube automation, jump on that, you guys. That's super huge. Obviously, you like YouTube. Most of you are on YouTube, so
Mhm.
Here's a question. We got a lot of coders in the chat today, so or at least people interested in coding. Can any agent connect to Git/remote servers to create, test, and execute codes, or is there a DevOps AI agent we could create?
This one's going to be quite difficult.
Mhm.
It's technically doable. So you can do this, and the way you would do this is through agent triggers. So you can do an agent trigger, and the same way that I just showed, where let me actually go back here. Short answer, no. I mean, long answer, possibly. I'll just run through the long answer too because we have time. But essentially, the same way that we had these tools over here, what you can do is you can kind of define your own custom tool over here. And if I do create automation, it's going to go to agent trigger. And then from here, I can define parameters. So whatever information I want to pass to this trigger, um, then I can do like send HTTP request. And then I can, so I'm just going to say something like code or a function name. I'm just going to add that there. Then I can do post. And then you would put the endpoint and you can add, if I do at function name. And the way automations work is essentially data from the top flows to the bottom steps. It's kind of like a waterfall. So you can technically define this agent trigger. And then once you have your send HTTP requests, you can define certain um, connections that you want with Git and all that stuff. But long answer, it's a very, very like complicated process, but it is possible. It's just you
Okay.
would have to really tinker with the product.
All right. Well, I learned something new. I would have said no, probably moved on, but it's good that it's possible. There's a lot more that can be done than I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Nicole, can you change colors and make it pretty and stuff? I mean, you can
Yeah.
change icons
Yeah, you can.
for sure.
You can do edit, and then afterwards from here, you can choose whatever color you want for your workspace.
Yep.
So let's say I'm just gonna do blue over here, and then I can make an icon for a rocket, and then I'll update it, and you'll see all of the branding and everything like that changes up to meet it as well. So yeah,
Yeah, you can. You can make it pretty.
yeah, you can add
You can
highlighting.
also change it to light mode if you want. I
Mhm.
wouldn't, but you can if
I'm not
that's what
gonna.
you like.
Yeah.
If that's your type of thing, you can. You can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, awesome, guys. Well, if you have any other questions, I mean, please throw them into the chat. Again, this is really, we're trying to let people know how it's pretty accessible to get started. You can immediately go and jump in. If you didn't see the first part, we built an AI agent and a whole AI team. Narek showed us how to do that in just a few minutes,
Mhm.
and also create content. Within that same time frame, you can pull things from the web. You can do all of that, and you don't need to be highly technical. Even though we did get into some technical stuff with automations, as far as just jumping in and using agents, you can do that without really any technical knowledge. It's all there for you to be able to manipulate the agents, make a team, do all of that and add knowledge and everything without too much time. So it's really quite accessible. It does seem like a lot, maybe when you first log in, like
Mhm.
what's going on here, but pretty much like you can jump in and use AI immediately and at a level that's much higher than what you've probably been doing on ChatGPT or other platforms.
Yeah, and it's basically like an AI toolkit for you and your team. So you're having all of your information in one place, collaborating on it, and you collaborate with either your team or with AI, your AI team.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Taskade can do even more than I thought. Yep. Yep. I learn new things too. And believe it or not, even our CEO sometimes learns new things like that
Yeah,
he didn't know like,
users will sometimes like
existed.
come up with some of the most creative like use cases. Like this was one hack that someone came up with. What they did is so when you're training your AI agent, if I go to knowledge, if I do add link, it's like I can add 5 at a time. What one person did is they basically created a project and they put like 15, 20 links, and the AI will actually, whenever it's referencing the information, will actually go through those links.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, you can put like
All of
20
them?
links. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
like that was what they were doing. And I was like, I didn't even think that that was a possibility, but yeah, they just did that. And I was like, okay, cool.
So if you need to add multiple links, you can actually have a list of links in a project.
hmm
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then the thing about, so this is another cool thing. The links themselves, they're actually updated every hour. So
Mm.
you don't even have to retrain, resync, or anything like that. So
Oh,
it's
that's
like it's
awesome.
constantly updated, constantly renewed.
Cool. Yeah. So constantly gathering data. So somebody
hmm
asked before, can you gather things from the web? I mean, absolutely. And it'll work in the background to make sure that it's up to date. So that's pretty cool. You don't have to, if you are constantly checking a page, whether it's a blog or otherwise that changes all the time, you can be confident it'll run it every hour, or you can rerun it. You can like retrain the agent anytime.
Yeah. There's also, I mean, other people have done this too, where they schedule these sorts of runs. So what they'll do is you can schedule that every hour. Your
Mm,
agent, like, I can run an agent command where they say the content marketer repurposes content or something like that. Not repurposes content, but basically can generate content for you. So this is really helpful if you're trying to, especially for LinkedIn, where you're trying to create a post. You can literally just upload your information to the agent as knowledge and then schedule it that every day it comes up with a
that's
new post
cool.
on LinkedIn as well.
So you can actually work while you sleep.
Literally.
And you can just go and you'll just have all this content.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
you like log in the morning and just like, yawn and open it up and you have whatever. You could do it. I mean, you could have 8 different pieces if you did it every hour while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
You could have like
Like,
yeah.
this is like, I mean, this is one use case that I still haven't set this up because honestly, I just haven't gotten around to it, but it's one thing that I want to do. If you do, when there's a new email from Google, so I can connect my Gmail account, what I can do is I want to assign it to my email writer, so the email body, and then afterwards create a draft email. And the reason why I want to do this is because I can essentially just have something generate draft emails for me in the background.
Wow.
And then in the morning, I can just open my Gmail inbox, go to my drafts, look at it.
I
If I
love
like it,
that.
send it. If I don't, change it, whatever it is. So
That'd be really cool,
saves
especially
me
if
a
you get a
lot of
lot of
copying and pasting.
emails.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, or if you get, like, a lot of, mean emails, that'd be really funny to see, like, what it would come up with, like,
Yeah.
if anybody's getting, like, I don't know, if you have troll emails coming through, you have, like, hate mail, I guess, then you could even train an agent to, like, respond
Handle that.
sarcastically. Yeah, like, respond sarcastically to all of this hate mail, like, there's so many use cases, I mean, really, it's like, what do you have? We really want it to be able to be your second like
Yeah.
your mini you. And whatever it is that you want it to do, the goal is for it to be able to be, there for you, like when you're not even able to work and just train it the way that you want it to be to work.
Yep.
What we got here? We got hugs. Thank you so much.
Let's go.
Productive Me. Productive Me is a superpower user and
Yeah.
uses Taskade for his business in Brazil, which is awesome. He could probably teach us a few things he's
Oh,
done.
100%.
Would love to have you on. By the way, if anybody's watching and you want to come on and show us how you're using Taskade, if you have a unique use case or something cool that you discovered, we would be happy to have you as a guest. So feel free. You can, reach out to me, Heidi at taskade.com if you want to set that up, or you can reach support or Narek
Yep.
or whoever you'd like. And we'll be happy to set that up at a time where you can come and show what you're doing. And we'd love to see it.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're probably reaching the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap this up, guys. But yeah, Essentially, we wanted to show how easy it is to get started. Taskade is the most accessible way for you to use AI immediately for your business, personal projects. Whether you're anywhere from a student to a creator, solopreneur, all the way to an employee. Um, you know, or a business owner, or having a whole organization, even, or enterprise. Taskade can fit that for you. So just let us know if you have any questions. We're happy to cover those. Looks like we got all right. We got one more before we go, and if let's see here. Could Taskade do the research and write out full drafts of longer text, like chapters of a book, that the user can then edit or add to later, or would it hit a wall?
Uh, it depends.
Yeah,
So it depends on how big a book is. If you're talking about like 1,000-page book, it's probably going to run into some issues.
yeah.
That doesn't have to do with Taskade. That has to do with the underlying tech. Um, but it is doable where you can technically do this through an automation. So
Hmm.
you can have it actually research the
Oh,
information for you, and then it'll write the draft. And then afterwards, you can pass that draft to another agent. And then afterwards, from there, add it to a project.
true. You could just have it go on intervals.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
the user would essentially look at the project. And there's a few ways that you can combine this, but it would be like you would really have to, it depends on your steps, it depends on your workflow. So possibly.
Yeah. Possibly. Hey, what's up, Faz Musa? Um,
Mm.
can we have a chat bot to gather client information rather than a form?
This
Nope.
is
Currently have a
something.
chat bot. That's a request though, right? It's a
Yeah, this is a
common
common
request.
request. This is a common request. I think we're working towards this. So essentially, I think what most people want to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's basically they want to define certain fields that they want to collect from the client, and then once the client hits a certain point where the chatbot itself believes that it should collect that information from the client, present it with those fields, and then have it fill it out, and then the
Mhm.
chatbot can do certain things in the background. In this case, chatbot would be an agent in Taskade.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's something that we're working on. Again, if you have any requests, please submit them to taskade.com/feedback. I'll put that right there just as a reminder. Um, but yeah, we're gonna wrap this one up, guys. If you have any feature requests, again, you can submit them there. But thank you so much, Narek, for walking us through, how to get started and sort of the basics. We're going to do these weekly or so,
Hmm.
and kind of cover different topics. So this was really meant to be just a basic overview of how to get started. And we did take questions. So well, let us know if you have anything specific that you'd like us to cover. Feel free. You can send an email to myself, Heidi at taskade.com if you want, or social at taskade.com, or send it to support, whatever. If you want us to cover something, we're happy to cover it. Just let us know. And we will see you soon. Eric, do you have any parting words or anything for the audience here?
Yeah, I mean, like we have a pretty bright and vibrant community as well. So definitely follow us on those. We're on
Of
Discord, Reddit, Facebook,
course.
Twitter, like we're Telegram, we're all over. So definitely follow us there. I sometimes actually I chime in a lot and I try to help out as much as I can. But there are a bunch of users that have taught me so much about the product too. So definitely
Yeah.
jump in.
Absolutely. Join us in our community, wherever is best for you. We're pretty active. I think the Facebook group is super active, but everywhere is, a great
Mhm.
place, whatever is best for you. And we will see you next time. Sometime next week, we're going